Thanks for staying with us. Just about 7:07. It's time for Business Breakfast. So when China's economy gets any kind of shake-up, the rest of the world, we feel the effects. So after the recent devaluation of China's currency, many importers and manufacturers were left wondering what it means for their businesses. Well, Inveni Business and Technology Limited has the answer to many or most of those questions. We have is Managing Director Michelle Low Chew Tung on set to tell us more. I hope I said the name correctly.
Yes, Low Chew Tung.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kishore. Nice to have me.
So this happened, the devaluation happened around September.
August,
yeah, okay. And everyone went mad for a little while.
Yes.
And we've sort of calmed down now.
Yeah.
But explain to the public who may not understand why everyone was so freaked out about this devaluation of the Chinese yuan.
Well, at the end of the day, the Chinese economy is very stable. That is known around the world. But we know that there has been increased labor cost, and they have been trying to stabilize that over the last number of years. The fact of the matter is, increased labor cost means increase in prices, and China has been receiving quite a bit of competition from other countries in Asia, such as Indonesia, Vietnam, Korea, India, and they have crafted a global leadership position of being the main manufacturer over the last 30 years, and that's not a position that they are going to just forfeit at the end of the day. So then what do you need to do? How do you stabilize that economy? And one of the things that they have done is actually devalue the currency.
And then what happens there is, because everything they price is in their yen, if you have the US dollar is now stronger and they can buy more.
That's right.
And this is what some people were the American government was upset, because on the flip side, then the Chinese can't buy from them because their money is worth so much more. And so how does it affect us here at home?
Well, what has happened is that now it means that with the devaluation, you have cheaper goods. Cheaper goods means now that you have a market where you can enter, you can purchase at cheaper prices. So it's a buyer's market, really. So why not get on board? But getting on board and doing business in China, even though we have had this long history of trading over 40 years, it doesn't mean to say to navigate the vast market that China is very easy. Some companies, I'm sure in Trinidad and Tobago, has been doing business successfully for a number of years, but you do have companies now that are interested in doing business, can have possibly contacted suppliers, but they are unable to get to the next level of that. Okay. And of course, you know that there is language barriers, cultural differences. You don't understand how to negotiate with suppliers and so on. And when I say suppliers, I'm talking about manufacturers purchasing Chinese or China direct, going directly to the factories, because that's where you obtain the cost savings at the end of the day. So that has been difficult. Some companies have told us, we held a seminar in October 2014, and we were amazed. We were oversubscribed, and we were very amazed at the fact that all of the different horror stories that we'd have heard, and this is from small companies to large companies.
And this is where your business comes in.
This is where we
try to navigate those choppy waters between Trinidad and China.
More so the Caribbean and China. So what do we have in place for businesses? Basically, we provide a complete end-to-end solution. We find the suppliers, we evaluate those suppliers, ensure that they have the international certifications. Not only that, they have the export capability in order to produce your good. And then we do sampling. Once the client approves those samples, then we get into production. Now, the unique part of our service is that we provide quality inspections on the ground in China. And our quality inspection starts from during production, and then we do pre-shipment, and then we are there for container loading supervision. And then we do handle the logistics and then the shipping.
So how did you get into this? How do you even begin to start a company like this?
Okay, I'm also a management consultant, and I have a business partner. She's from Beijing. She has been in Trinidad over the last 7 years, back and forth, and she assisted me with a client that I had while I was consulting. And when I was leaving my corporate job, she says to me, why don't we do this? We would have worked with about 3 businesses by then. And I said, well, I'm not really thinking about that at this stage, but okay, let's see what can happen. And then we started, and we work all across China, in every province, every city. There's no restriction for us because we have a very big network on the ground. We have associates, but at the same time, we have people in key positions, all trained in international trade, as well as quality control and whatever else is required, business negotiations and so on. So that's really how it got started. I know everyone involved in the business, and it so happened at the moment it's 5 women.
Right.
Yes, at this stage.
So how do you maintain that quality control over there from here? Are you monitoring them to make sure that they are going around doing what they have to do, and how do you create that level of trust between yourself and the people who are
working for us, actually? Yes, they are our coordinators. Well, my business partner, she handles the business in China. So she has the overall responsibility with respect to them getting the work done. Everything that is done is reports are prepared for clients and for myself, in addition to the fact that we go to the factories themselves and actually do the inspection together with the manufacturer. Pictures are taken, videos are done, and the reports are produced. The quality checking is done there. The container, domestic shipping needs to be arranged. Once that container reaches there, we are there. So that's why I said to you, everywhere, wherever that port is, that location is, we go out there and we meet the clients.
You mentioned some horror stories that you heard from big and small businesses. I want to hear some of those.
Okay, let me tell you. In terms of people, everybody knows Alibaba. Correct? So you can sit in your house and you can place an order online. All right? One particular gentleman mentioned to us, he says, you know, well, I wanted this particular piece of equipment. It's just one. I know in China it's bulk purchasing. I have to purchase a lot in order for me to get the cost savings. He says, I went online, I saw the equipment, I had my specifications. That's the other thing. We work strictly by specs. And I placed my order. And I expected my order to come. In other words, he operated as if it was Amazon, right? You just went on, you click, and I expect my whatever it is to appear in my box. Now, there was no connection with the supplier on the ground. And when the product actually arrived, he expected equipment, let's say 3 feet by 4 feet. It was just like 3 inches by 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
And then what do? You have spent thousands of dollars. There's no quality control. There's no inspections being handled for you. There's no layers or services on the ground. And that's another thing. We can't just sit back and decide that, okay, I've placed an order and I expect it to arrive in Trinidad. No, there must be that constant contact.
I know of someone who had a small business as well, and they went out themselves and found that contact to go around. And there was so much level of trust that they had to take, because this person could just be taking your money.
That's correct.
And telling you that, yeah, of course I checked out the factory, and they just...
We perform supplier verification. It's a procedure that we have done for quite a few companies in Trinidad lately, where they have gone ahead and found their suppliers. But before they make that payment, they need to know that this factory is legitimate. We have access to the government databases on the ground in China. We are able to, once you're registered in China, you're also registered within the province in which you operate. So we are able to access that on the ground. We can tell you what the share capital is, who the share owners are, how long the business has been in operation, whether it's a trading company. And if it's a trading company, it probably means it's fronting as a manufacturer. It's probably selling a lot of products. Or we can tell you if it's a genuine factory. Yeah. Another service that we provide is customized trade tours. So we can take a contingent of business people in Trinidad to China, and
so they could see everything for
all the factories, all the showrooms, meet with the suppliers, have their conversations.
Do you create databases just how much business happens between Trinidad and China?
We have just begun to do that, so I don't have those facts for you at the moment, but it is something that we are definitely looking at. I know that with the Chinese, our own embassy opening in Beijing in 2014 under the last administration, I believe in 2012 we would have done, I think, about $612 million in trade with China, but there has been no other information or statistics coming out from that. But I guess I can check with CSO.
Could it be even more than that we don't?
I seriously believe so, that it could very well be more. But I can just.
And these are major players that we should be monitoring a
We
little bit
should
more
be,
closely.
yes.
Don't you think?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Also from a government perspective, do you work with the government at all? Probably pitching policy or something?
No, not, well, with this new administration, I expect to have a meeting with the Ministry of Trade very soon, with the Acting Director of Trade there, and I have also sent a letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because when we did our seminar last year, we liaised with the local Chinese embassy on the ground here. The consulate is no longer in Trinidad, but she did advise us that there are Chinese companies that are seeking information about Trinidad businesses, and from a B2B perspective,
right.
While we are looking at it from Trinidad to China, there's still China to Trinidad. And she says, if you're providing all of these services, then there's an opportunity for you to assist these businesses that also need to come into Trinidad. So hence me reaching out to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I'm waiting to hear from them.
All right, so any young entrepreneurs out there trying to do business with China, how do they get in contact with you?
They can visit us online at www.invenitt.com. We are on the main social media sites, which is Facebook, LinkedIn more so, and Twitter. And we are located at number 5 F Fitz Street in Woodbrook in Port of Spain. And our contact number is 271-3438.
Say that one more time.
271-3438.
Right.
Inveni Business and Technology
Michelle,
Limited.
thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much. Appreciate it.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. This is Morning Edition.